So we're almost approaching the weekend, and today I have a new guest with us, Matt. Let's welcome Matt on 10 Minutes of Hiring Wisdom, who is recruiting and hiring for his team. So if you're looking for a job, you might want to turn up the volume. Let's welcome Matt on 10 Minutes of Hiring Wisdom. Hi, Matt. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Manal. How are you?
I am doing well. How's your day going so far? What have you been up to?
It has been it's been nonstop since 9 a.m. I'm really excited for this meeting, but also after this meeting when I can finally eat lunch.
So what does your daily routine comprise of? Like, what are you up to every day?
Yeah, for sure. Unfortunately, it's a lot of meetings these days, but we're running like 3 different products right now. One of which is nascent and getting close to launch. So obviously, there's a lot of like coordination with project managers and QA, and we're also getting ready for the actual deployment, which with a blockchain application has a lot of peculiarities to it. So there's key signing ceremonies. And then your normal DevOps problems. So, which one of the roles we're hiring for is a lead DevOps engineer. So, if anyone like that is listening, we'd really like to talk to that person.
Okay, and what is your role within the company, Matt? Can you maybe specify that? And what does your company do? Can you maybe specify that as well?
Sure, yeah. So I'm the CTO at Spring Labs. I came out of software engineering and research. I've been working in like decentralized technology and cryptography for about 8 years, and then normal software engineering before that. Spring Labs is primarily focused on privacy preserving secure data exchange, primarily targeting large financial institutions, fintechs, but we also provide more traditional like data science, machine learning products for lenders. One of our products is focused on determining like the income stability of like a loan applicant, reducing defaults and increasing lending volumes. But we also do a lot with decentralized technology, blockchain, and DeFi applications. One of our nascent products is focused on making traditional financial institution KYC, identity verification, AML, available to smart contracts like DeFi lending applications, decentralized exchanges, that want to verify the KYC status or other information about an individual without revealing that information directly on the blockchain.
Okay, wow. So you are the CTO. So did you always come from a technological background, or is this something that you were like, okay, people are going towards that? There's a recent trend towards going towards technology. So what got you into technology in the first place?
Yeah, I'm a nerd from way back. I think I started programming when I was like 11 or 12. So yeah, I've always been involved with technology. I did a normal computer science degree in undergrad, and then I started working mostly freelance for a couple of years out of college, like doing like web development. I was not good at freelancing, like managing customers and invoices, and was not really my vibe. I tried a stint at like a large-ish company and didn't care much for that. Then I found startups, and startups is really like my kind of place. I like a small company. The pandemic notwithstanding, you spend more time with your coworkers than with your family. So it was important for me to like be in a group of fun people that were engaged and passionate about what they were doing. And so it's been the past 8-9 years I've been working in startups pretty exclusively.
Okay, so my next question is startups eventually do become a growth phase company. So what do you do then?
Yeah,
What is the next step?
those are champagne problems, right? Like when you're exploding in value and hiring aggressively. I think there's probably a threshold for me where I'm comfortable being in a leadership position at a company. I have no idea how to run a 500 or 1,000 person company, and maybe at some point I'll become interested in that challenge. But right now, it's not really where I want to be. So, God willing, like Spring Labs explodes. See some sort of liquidity event or an acquisition or something that leads us to become 1,000 or 10,000 person company, I will leave. And I'll find a startup.
Okay, that's pretty direct. So, Matt, I'd love to hear because your company seems to be growing and everything. Can you maybe specify what kind of people do you want to be a part of your company? Because you
Yeah.
mentioned that they should be fun, and as well as the positions that are open that you're hiring for.
Yeah, I mean, so the positions I think there may be a couple open positions on the business side, but I'm not too well apprised of those. I do know on the technology side, we have open positions for software engineers, data engineers, DevOps and infrastructure engineers at most levels between mid and lead. We have a couple like department lead positions open. There's also an IT engineer role that we're trying to hire. In terms of like the type of person, we've seen the best performance out of people that are really passionate about solving problems for their own sake, people that really enjoy like being hands-on and digging into complex challenges, which is something that most people say that they enjoy doing. But if you don't like, I guess the best way that I could put it is that if you are comfortable setting down your computer, closing the laptop, and stepping away when you're in the middle of a hairy problem, and that doesn't itch the back of your brain, then that's not the best indication for me. I want people that like just have that burning desire to solve all unknown mysteries. That
Okay.
correlates
And do
really
you
well.
want that burning? Sorry, go ahead.
I said that correlates really well with performance.
Okay. And do you want the burning desire to happen at 3 a.m. at night, especially when it's time to sleep? Or do you want the person to like make sure that they do it within the time that is assigned to them?
No, so I mean, there's a threshold. Like, work-life balance is important, and self-care is important as well. But if it's 5 p.m. and you set a threshold for 5 p.m. being when you want to leave, and despite where you are in the problem, you're not willing to throw another like hour, 15 minutes at it. That's not what I like to see. But I also do not like to see people waking up bleary-eyed at 7 a.m. on 4 hours of sleep, because I've never met anybody that does good work on 4 hours of sleep.
That makes sense. They make a lot more mistakes. So I can definitely see that why. And especially in coding and everything, I think you can't afford such mistakes because you have to run over the code. You have to find that little mistake that would prevent that. So I can see that. Last question for you, Matt, would be because you jumped from startup to startup, what is something that you've learned along the way that would be useful for job seekers out there that could increase their chances of getting that dream job?
Sure. So one thing that like really impacted my career trajectory, it was like 2013, 2014. I was looking for my next gig. I was between two companies. One was like a machine learning company, and machine learning was obviously exploding at the time and is still a major domain. The other one was a Bitcoin company, which I didn't really know much about at the time, but was also like sort of nascent. And was I was in LA interviewing at the Bitcoin company, which was in like a co-working space. It was like a 4-person company at the time, and the CEO just talked at me for 2 hours about how transformative programmable money was going to be. And I left that interview thinking, well, I guess I work here now. But and then that shaped the rest of my career. I found something that like not a lot of people knew a ton about, and was able to find a role where I could become a subject matter expert. And that was really powerful because I was playing in a smaller pool of experts. Like if I went into machine learning, there's a much longer road to becoming like someone that is among leading experts in that domain. So if you're like starting your career, or if you're trying to find a job, I would focus on the skills that you have, or the skills that you're interested in acquiring, that few other people with your same skill set are pursuing, because then you're going to be able to like grow your career a lot faster, and you're also going to find roles where there is less competition and more of them available. The blockchain space is very much like this right now, because I mean, like the prices and like the decentralized finance and all the other hype cycles around it are driving a lot of new companies to get founded, and a lot of new projects to spin up. And so hiring engineers is really difficult right now. The market is very thin in terms of senior talent. It is much worse in like the blockchain DeFi space, because there are not a lot of engineers in general. There's far fewer engineers with like smart contracting experience. So particularly for technical roles, that's something that I would encourage people to look into, because it's an interesting space. But whatever field you're in, the intersection of like two skills that are rarely seen, like skill sets that don't appear next to each other, will usually set you up to like target those roles that not a lot of people are qualified for. Does that make sense?
Okay, it definitely does make a lot of sense. I can definitely see that being useful, because I think having those niche skills just gives you a competitive advantage in front of a smaller pool of candidates. Thank you for sharing that. But other than that, Matt, our time is up. It was an absolute pleasure having you as a guest. We love to keep things short. I hope you can go and have your lunch now and enjoy the rest of your meal. But I hope you have a great rest of your day as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Mel. Take care. All right.